Meet Vasyl Lomachenko, the best pound-for-pound amateur boxer in the world. With over 300 fights and only a single loss, the Ukrainian's superb technique and his tremendous power create a deadly combination. Coming up, we're in the gym to learn about the secrets to being an Olympic champion.
You have to die constantly in the gym to sweat more in order to bleed less at competitions.
We see how Vasyl is coping with his biggest challenge to date, fatherhood.
He helps me as much as he can. When he comes back from competition and training, he gives the baby a lot of attention.
And we discover this champion's other passion, one that's given Vasyl a few hair-raising moments.
I was okay. Nothing bad really happened. I didn't hit a tree or another car or anything like that. I just hit the curb and my car flew off the road.
We met up with Vasyl at his family's gym in Belgorod-Dnistrovsky. Run by his father Anatoly, this is where Vasyl began his training as a 6-year-old. However, according to the senior Lomachenko, Vasyl was always meant to be a boxer.
He was always going to be a boxer. He was boxing even before he was born. He was kicking his mother when he was in her belly. He was already practicing.
And continue practicing is what Vasyl's been doing. When you want to be the best in the world, you have to put the hours in at the gym. No pain, no gain.
Champions are made through hard work. Our team psychologist says, in order to progress, you have to break yourself down. This is what makes a champion. You have to die constantly in the gym, to sweat more in order to bleed less at competitions.
In the pursuit of glory, Vasyl spends 6 hours a day, 6 days a week at the gym. It's a training regime that has seen him secure Olympic gold at the 2008 Beijing Games and back-to-back World Championship titles. For his entire career, Vasyl has been coached by his father, and it's a relationship that clearly works.
He's the brain of the team. He calculates and works out my entire training regime. What to do, when to do it, and for how long. I really like it. Of course, sometimes we have arguments because we have different opinions. But I usually follow his advice because everything I've achieved has been thanks to him. He tells me what to do, and I do it.
What can I say? I never think of him as just a boxer. I always see him as my son. His achievements speak for themselves, so it's difficult to argue with him at times. But because he's my son, I'm much stricter with him than the other guys. I punish him more often and demand twice as much from him.
Demanding twice as much from Vasyl is one thing, but as with any father-son relationship, there had to be times when his son refused to listen.
Vasyl can be quite moody. He's an Aquarius, and people born under that sign are famous for being moody. When he was in school, we used to have problems because he would do anything to get out of work. He just wanted to go out and play with his friends.
While the pair have been working and preparing for the London Olympics, Vasyl's also become a father for the first time.
I've been a father now for 3 months, but I haven't found it too difficult. I think it's hard work for my wife. When he cries at night and needs to be calmed down, she always does it. She never wakes me up as she knows I have to get my rest before morning training.
We'll be meeting Vasyl's wife and son a bit later. At the moment, much of his work in the gym is geared towards making history in London. Having won featherweight gold at the Beijing Olympics, Vasyl has moved up to lightweight and will be aiming to become the first boxer to win gold in 2 different weight categories.
It's all about his desire to be #1 in anything that he does. Whether it's playing another sport like football or hockey, he doesn't like to lose. And this especially counts when it comes to boxing. He doesn't understand what it is to lose. He's always working hard to be #1, to be the best.
After training, Vasyl drives the 5 minutes to his house on the outskirts of town. Having recently renovated his home, the talented pugilist was keen to show us around.
Hi, come on in. We'll start here. You see all my plants? My wife takes care of them. She waters and feeds them. This is the living room. When we have guests, we play games, maybe cards. Sometimes I play PlayStation 3 in here. On the wall, you'll see a painting. It's of me as a baby with my 2 grandfathers. Now, this is my kitchen. The most important things in here are my vitamins. Okay, this way. Over this side of the living room, you can see a beautiful picture collection that my wife gave me. What else? You can also see this warrior. It was given to me at one of the many competitions I fought in. And in here is my bedroom. And also the baby room. We all sleep in here. Me, my wife, and my baby son. Now I will show you my special room.
Your special room?
This is my room. I play billiards from time to time. And here are all my medals.
Okay, so your special room is a trophy room.
This is the main shelf. These are all the medals I've won at World and European Championships. And this is the most important one. The Olympic medal I won in Beijing. These medals here may not be as significant, but they're still important. This is the gold medal from the 2009 World Championship, my gold from the European Championship, and this is from the 2011 World Championship.
His special room, though seemingly paved with gold from all his 300+ victories, does contain one solitary piece of silver.
This is the medal I won at the 2007 World Championship. It's the only silver medal in the room. The only one, because every other medal is gold. But for me personally, I think it still equals gold because I still think I didn't lose that fight.
That loss at the World Championship in Chicago was against Russia's Albert Selimov. However, it was a loss that Vasyl soon put right at the 2008 Olympic Games. Having beaten Selimov 14-7 in his opening bout, Vasyl then dominated the competition, conceding only 6 more points. In the final, the Ukrainian southpaw stopped France's Kaddafi Delshelka via a first-round TKO to secure Olympic gold.
My win there has a story. When I was 6 years old, I asked my dad which is better, to win a gold medal at the World Championships or the Olympics. He said the Olympics, and being so young, I said, okay, then I'll be an Olympic champion. I said it as a major goal in my life, and from then on I started working hard to achieve it.
His dominant performance in Beijing saw him awarded the Val Barker Trophy for the most outstanding boxer at the Games, though the trophy adorning his cabinet has an interesting story.
If you look a bit lower, you see the trophy. But it's a fake Barker trophy. And the reason why I say it's fake is quite a strange story. After I received the trophy in Beijing, it disappeared. So a duplicate was made, and I came back with it. But then they found the original Val Barker trophy. I had the real one for a month, but then the Ukrainian Boxing Federation took it, and they still have it. I want it back because I prefer to have the real one rather than the fake one.
And Vasyly's stories don't stop there. He has another when it comes to his boxing idol growing up.
My first hero was Mike Tyson. But when I was 8 or 9 years old, I learned that Tyson wasn't Ukrainian, and it made me cry. Up until then, I was certain that Mike Tyson was our boxer, a Ukrainian. And when I found out that he was a different nationality, that he was American, it really upset me. He was one of my first idols. I even have a toy of him here somewhere. Let me show you. Here is where Mike Tyson bit Evander Holyfield.
These days, the only soft toys Vasyl plays with are those of his son Anatoly. In 2006, Vasyl met Lina Yuronyak, herself a former national gymnast. They married in 2010, and Lina is very proud.
I'm immensely happy for him. He's not just a great sportsman, he's a good person, and everyone admires him. I think no one compares to him.
And in 2011, the couple had their first child. Vasyl may be regimented and very dedicated in training, but becoming a new father is a whole new experience.
Vasyl is a very attentive father. He loves his son a lot. I'm very happy that he's baby Anatoly's father. He helps me as much as he can. When he comes back from competition and training, when he's home, he gives the baby a lot of attention.
We've been getting up close with Olympic boxing champion Vasyl Lomachenko. He's given us a tour of his house on the outskirts of Bielorod-Dnistrovsky. And we've seen how Vasyly's been coping with fatherhood. Coming up, we get a tour of his hometown's most famous attraction.
You know, a tour guide would know more than I do.
And we learn about Vasyly's other passion, fast cars, and the dangers he faces on Ukrainian roads.
I was okay. Nothing bad really happened. I didn't hit a tree or another car or anything like that. I just hit the curb and my car flew off the road.
We've been getting up close with Olympic boxing champion Vasyl Lomachenko, the best pound-for-pound amateur boxer in the world. We've hit the gym with the southpaw to see what it takes to compile a record of over 300 wins and only 1 loss.
You have to diet constantly in the gym, to sweat more in order to bleed less at competitions.
We've met his newborn son, Anatoly, had a tour of his home, and we've checked out his impressive medal collection.
This is my room. I play billiards from time to time. And here are all my medals.
Coming up, we get a personal tour of his hometown's most famous landmark, and we learn about his plans to turn professional after the London Olympics.
I don't have any particular people in mind, be it Manny Pacquiao, or Mosley, or someone else.
Всем привет, я Василий Ломаченко, добро пожаловать в Белгород-Днестровский.
Established as a settlement in the 6th century BC by ancient Greeks, Belgorod-Dnestrovsky is one of the oldest cities in the world. While most of modern-day Belgorod is of Soviet design, Vasyl agreed to show us the city's most famous landmark, the imposing Akerman fortress.
You know, a tour guide would know more than I do.
Unfortunately, the budget won't stretch to one, so we're stuck with you, Vasyl.
The fortress is the main tourist attraction here. The town is one of the 10 oldest cities in the world, and the fort is 2,500 years old. If you follow me, I'll show you around inside. This is the entrance to the fortress, and above you can see the town's coat of arms. It's our symbol. Okay, this way.
Once the crossroads for a number of trade routes, the Akerman is one of the largest and best preserved fortresses in the Ukraine. Having been born and raised in Belgorod, does Vasyl have any childhood memories of the place?
When I was younger, I climbed these walls with my friends. They've done some restoration work and laid some new stones, so you couldn't do it now, but we'd climb and run around playing catch.
While Vasyl may not think he's the greatest tour guide in the world, there's one topic the Ukrainian is willing to spend time talking about.
Welcome to my garage. This is my favorite car. It's very powerful and very fast. It's a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. I bought it myself and I tuned it up a bit. I even refitted the interior of the car as well. It's a really fast car and I love everything about it. For me, it's the best. I've had other fast cars before, but this tops them all. And this is my Mercedes S-Class 221. It was presented to me by the Ukrainian Boxing Federation after the 2009 World Championship. I only usually drive it when I go to competitions and training camps. It's a very nice car, but I still prefer the Lancer Evolution. It's a man's car.
What makes the Evolution a man's car, Vasyl?
Well, let me tell you a few things about the Evolution. It has a 2-litre turbocharged engine. I changed it a bit and installed an AMS intake and exhaust system. I also changed the program and upgraded it, and as a result, it now has 400 horsepower.
Judging by the state of the roads, 400 horsepower could be hazardous to your health.
I was okay. Nothing bad really happened. I didn't hit a tree or another car or anything like that. I just hit the curb and my car flew off the road.
Hailing from a country where there's an average of 8,000 road deaths a year, having a need for speed is probably not altogether wise.
Yes, I understand that. But I see everything when I'm driving, and I feel I'm always in control. Even though that's not always true, my dad and friends always warn me, and I understand their concern for my safety.
Seatbelts then must be a prerequisite when it comes to driving here, and for any potential passenger in Vasyl's car.
No, I don't wear one, and neither does anyone else who rides with me. But then again, very few people actually drive with me, especially in this car. My wife never drives with me in this car. When she does, she cries and shouts. Even before I've even got to 40 kilometers an hour, she's shouting for me to hit the brakes. So I have to drive very safely. My mum once sat in the car with me. I wanted to drive her, but we'd hardly started moving when she cried out, "Stop!"
While it would seem none of Vasyly's family readily share the talented boxer's passion for speed, he's still very much a family man. Having become a father for the first time at the end of 2011, Vasyly likes to spend as much time as possible with his wife and son. And he jokingly told us that they're just as important to him as his Olympic medal.
They're worth an Olympic medal. An Olympic medal is very important to me. Well, maybe they're as important as 1.5 Olympic medals.
After that quick bit of R&R at the beach, it was back to the car. Aside from giving his time freely, Vasyly is also willing to share the spoils of his success.
Okay, these are some horse stables. There is a horse here that I gave to my dad for his 50th birthday. Follow me and I'll show it to you. Two years ago, my dad mentioned to me that he'd loved horses his whole life, and it was something I'd never known. With that in mind, after the World Championship, I got in touch with one of the guys here. I brought him out here, we went riding, and he loved it. So I then decided to buy him the horse.
Any riding will have to wait for Vasyly. The Southpaw is in training for the 2012 London Games, where he'll attempt to make history. Not only is he attempting to become the first boxer to win gold in 2 different weight classes, he's also aiming to become Ukraine's only 2-time Olympic boxing champion.
To enter my country's history books as the first 2-time Olympic boxing champion would be great. In the Ukraine, we don't have any 2-time Olympic champions in boxing. There may be in other sports, but not mine. It would mean so much to me to achieve that.
Vasyly's past Olympic success and his current record of winning every tournament he's entered since Beijing means he'll enter the Games as a heavy favourite.
We both understand that he is the big target that the others, including the judges, will be looking at. It'll be necessary for him not just to be stronger, but 10 times stronger. He has to eliminate any doubts. He has to show his opponent that he is stronger and prove to the judges that he is that good.
Following his 2008 triumph in Beijing, there was a lot of expectation on Vasyly turning professional. While he backed off from doing it then, it seems a certainty post-London.
Some of my friends are getting married after the Olympics, so I think I'm going to be traveling from one wedding to another, visiting them all. Then I'll rest. But after that, I'd like to turn pro and start my professional career.
The best pound-for-pound amateur boxer in the world. Is there any particular fighter he'd like to face once he's a professional?
I don't have any particular people in mind, be it Manny Pacquiao or Mosley or someone else. I'm not looking at certain names. Of course, I'd like to fight boxers who are well known, because with them there'd be great and beautiful fights. But I want to fight everyone without any expectations.
The expectations of Vasyly as a professional are huge. When you've won over 300 bouts and lost only once as an amateur, the belief is you'll be the next big thing, the Ukrainian Sugar Ray Robinson.
I don't think about it. I try not to pay attention to what people say. I'm not interested in what others think. I live and box for myself and for my family. I don't care much for what other people think or expect of me.
With the support of his family behind him, it would seem the sky's the limit for Vasyl Lomachenko. From putting in the hours at the gym and achieving Olympic glory, to becoming a father for the first time, it would seem Vasyl can turn his hand to anything, which leaves us with only one thing left to ask. Is there a secret to his success?
My secret? Maybe it's a talent that's been correctly honed and developed. I think the secret is work, work, and work some more. You have to dedicate yourself to it. My secret? I don't know really.
Привет, Трей Спортс, я Василий Ломаченко, добро пожаловать в Белгород-Днестровский.